The movie begins with a group of teenagers partying on a yacht in the middle of the ocean. Suddenly, a huge shark attacks their boat and causes chaos. The scene shows how dangerous and powerful the shark is. After this, the story moves to an underwater research facility called Aquatica. Scientists there are studying sharks to find a cure for Alzheimer's disease. They are secretly increasing the sharks' brain size to make them smarter so they can extract a special protein from their brains. The main scientist, Dr. Susan McAllister, believes she is close to a medical breakthrough. However, the sharks have become much more intelligent than expected. Soon, something goes wrong during an experiment. One of the sharks attacks, and the situation starts to become very dangerous. The team begins to realize that they may have lost control. The scientists continue their experiments at the underwater facility, Aquatica. They successfully remove brain tissue from one of the sharks to create a possible cure for Alzheimer's disease. At first, everything seems to be working. However, during the procedure, the shark suddenly becomes violent and escapes. It attacks one of the team members, causing serious damage inside the lab. This is the moment when everyone realizes the sharks are far more intelligent than normal. The situation becomes worse when a powerful storm hits the ocean above them. The facility starts to flood after the sharks damage important systems. Water begins filling different sections of the lab, and escape routes are cut off. The team now understands that the sharks are not only smart, they are working strategically. The sharks begin hunting the humans inside the sinking facility. The flooding inside Aquatica gets worse, and the team realizes the facility is slowly sinking. The sharks are now clearly hunting them, using their intelligence to trap and surprise the survivors. One of the most shocking moments happens when a shark suddenly jumps out of the water and kills a main character during a speech. This shows how unpredictable and dangerous the sharks have become. The remaining survivors decide they must reach the surface before the entire facility collapses. They move through dark, flooded corridors while avoiding the sharks. Along the way, some team members sacrifice themselves to help the others escape. Dr. Susan finally admits that increasing the shark's brain size was a mistake. She understands that their experiment caused the disaster. The survivors are now very close to the surface, but the facility is almost completely underwater. The sharks are still hunting them, trying to stop their escape. Dr. Susan realizes the sharks might escape into the open ocean if nothing is done. She decides to sacrifice herself to distract the biggest shark. She jumps into the water to attract it, giving the others a chance to escape. Meanwhile, the remaining survivors fight back. They use weapons and explosives to stop the sharks. In a final battle, one survivor manages to electrocute and kill the last attacking shark. The facility is destroyed, but a few survivors finally reach safety at the surface. After the explosion destroys most of Aquatica, the ocean becomes calm again. The surviving characters float in the open sea, exhausted and shocked by what happened. Rescue helicopters finally arrive after the storm passes. The survivors are saved, but they know the disaster was caused by human experimentation. The movie ends with a strong message. Humans tried to control nature. They made the sharks smarter for scientific success, but nature fought back in a deadly way. The story shows that playing with genetic science without limits can have dangerous consequences. This is the complete story of Deep Blue Sea, 1999. If you want, I can explain the ending meaning, tell you about Deep Blue Sea 2, or start a new movie story. Note, the original movie ends in Part 4. This Part 6 is an imagined continuation for fun. Months after the Aquatica disaster, news spreads about the incident. The world believes all the intelligent sharks were destroyed. However, in a quiet coastal area, strange boat accidents begin happening. Fishermen report seeing a massive shark behaving in an unusually smart way on avoiding nets and attacking boats strategically. Scientists start to fear that one genetically modified shark may have survived the explosion and escaped into the open ocean. A new investigation team is formed. They discover secret data files showing that more experiments were done than anyone knew. The danger may not be over. The final scene shows a shadow moving deep under the ocean's surface, watching. The story suggests one smart shark may still be alive. The experiment's consequences are not finished. The Deep Blue Sea still hides secrets. The investigation team travels to the coastal area where the strange attacks are happening. They install underwater cameras and tracking devices to study the ocean. Soon they capture shocking footage, a massive shark swimming calmly, almost as if it is observing the equipment. It avoids every trap placed for it. One night, a research boat suddenly loses power. The shark attacks the bottom of the vessel in a calculated way, trying to sink it. The team realizes this is not normal behavior. The shark remembers human technology. A young marine biologist discovers old hidden files from Aquatica. The data reveals that the sharks were not only made smarter, they were trained to recognize patterns and learn quickly. Now the team must decide, capture the shark alive, or destroy it before it multiplies. The ocean grows quiet again, but everyone feels something watching from below. The deep blue sea still holds secrets. The team prepares a final mission to capture the intelligent shark. They build a special underwater cage with electric barriers, hoping to trap it alive. At first, everything goes according to plan. The shark enters the area, circling the bait slowly. But instead of attacking blindly, it studies the cage. It bumps the electric field once, then backs away, as if testing it. Suddenly, the shark disappears into the deep water. That night, the research station's power shuts down. Emergency lights flash red. The shark has attacked the underwater cables, cutting off electricity and communication. Water starts leaking into the lower levels of the station. Panic spreads among the team. They realize the shark didn't just escape the trap. It learned from it. The station is now in complete darkness. Only emergency backup lights flicker through the flooded hallways. The team splits into two groups, one to restore power, the other to reach the escape submarine. Outside, the intelligent shark circles the station calmly. It no longer attacks randomly, it waits. As the engineers try to restart the generator, the shark strikes again, smashing into a weak section of the structure. Glass cracks. Water rushes in. One team member sacrifices himself to seal a door, stopping the flooding long enough for the others to escape. The tension rises as oxygen levels begin to drop. Finally, the power comes back for a few minutes. Radar shows something shocking. There is not one signal in the water. There are two. The shark may not be alone. The survivors realize the experiment's legacy has grown. The deep blue sea is no longer just hiding one intelligent predator. It may be the beginning of a new species. Darkness surrounds them as they prepare for one final confrontation. The radar confirms it. There are two. Intelligent sharks circling the damaged station. The team realizes the first shark must have reproduced or another experiment survived in secret. With oxygen running low, the survivors rush toward the small escape submarine. But before they can launch, one of the sharks slams into the docking bay, breaking the outer doors. Water floods in rapidly. The second shark appears in the chaos. Unlike normal predators, they work together, one attacking, the other blocking escape routes. The team makes a desperate plan. They overload the station's main reactor, turning it into a massive underwater explosion. It is the only way to stop the sharks from reaching the open ocean. As the countdown begins, the survivors launch the submarine just seconds before the reactor explodes. A huge blast shakes the ocean floor. On the surface, silence returns. No movement, no shadows. Days later, news reports say the threat is finally over. But in the final scene, far away in the deep ocean, a faint sonar sound echoes, and a dark shape moves in the abyss. The deep blue sea never truly gives up its secrets. If you want, we can. Years after the explosion, the ocean seems peaceful again. The world believes the intelligent sharks were destroyed forever. But deep beneath the surface, in an unexplored trench, a secret research drone captures strange movement. The footage shows something large, bigger than before, moving slowly in the darkness. Meanwhile, a private corporation secretly recovers old data from the destroyed Aquatica project. They believe the experiment failed because of poor control, not because it was wrong. A new underwater facility is quietly built in a remote location. During a deep-sea exploration mission, a submarine suddenly loses signal. The last transmission is only one sentence. It's learning. The new underwater facility, built by a private corporation, is more advanced than Aquatica. It has stronger walls, smarter AI systems, and military-level security. Scientists begin studying unusual ocean patterns, missing submarines, damaged cables, and unexplained sonar signals. Something intelligent is moving in the deep trench. One night, the control room detects movement directly beneath the station. Cameras switch on, but only darkness appears. Then suddenly, a massive shape crosses the screen. The creature is larger than any shark recorded before. Unlike previous experiments, this one seems fully adapted to the deep ocean. It avoids bright lights and attacks only weak structural points. The team realizes something terrifying. The original experiment didn't just survive, it evolved. As alarms ring through the facility, the AI system suddenly shuts down. Someone, or something, has disabled it from outside. Water pressure increases. Cracks begin forming in the outer walls. The station is breaking apart under extreme deep-sea pressure. Emergency alarms echo through the metal corridors as the team rushes toward the escape pods. Outside, the massive evolved shark moves slowly, not attacking wildly, but striking only where the structure is weakest. It feels less like an animal and more like a strategist. One escape pod launches successfully, carrying a few survivors. But before the second pod can detach, the Predator crashes into the docking ring. The impact destroys part of the station. Inside the control room, one scientist makes a shocking discovery. The creature is communicating through low-frequency sonar pulses, signals that suggest coordination. Moments later, sonar picks up multiple returning echoes from the trench. There isn't just one evolved predator. As the remaining survivors escape in the final pod, they look down through the small window. Below them, in the endless darkness, several massive shadows move together. The deep blue sea is no longer ruled by one monster. It may now belong to a new intelligent species. The escape pod rises slowly toward the surface, but the survivors are not safe yet. Sonar shows multiple massive shapes following them from below, keeping distance, but not attacking. Inside the pod, the scientists analyze the recorded sonar signals. They discover a pattern. The creatures are communicating in structured pulses, almost like a language. When the pod finally reaches the surface, a rescue ship picks them up. The world governments are informed about what is happening in the deep ocean. A global emergency meeting is called. Military leaders suggest destroying the trench with deep-sea weapons. But marine biologists warn that attacking could provoke the creatures. Meanwhile, deep below, the evolved sharks gather near a thermal vent. They move together in formation, organized and calm. One final deep-sea camera captures something chilling. The largest creature releases a powerful sonar pulse. And in distant parts of the ocean, faint responses answer back. What the intelligence is spreading, news of the deep-sea intelligence spreads across the world. Governments try to keep it secret, but strange ocean events increase. Ships disappear, underwater cables are cut, and sonar systems detect organized movement beneath major sea routes. Scientists study the sonar language, recorded in Part 14 after weeks of analysis. They confirm something incredible. The creatures are not just communicating, they are planning. A global task force builds a massive deep-sea monitoring network to track the trench activity. But each time equipment is placed in the water, it is quietly destroyed. Meanwhile, satellites detect unusual synchronized movement patterns across different oceans, as if the predators are expanding territory. One brave marine biologist suggests a risky idea. Instead of attacking, try communicating. A powerful sonar transmitter is built to send a simple mathematical pattern, a universal signal of intelligence. The message is sent into the deep. For several long seconds, nothing happens. Then, a response comes back. Clear, organized, deliberate. The control room is silent after the sonar reply. The signal coming from the deep is not random. It repeats in a structured sequence, more complex than the one humans sent. Mathematicians confirm it. The creatures understand patterns. A second message is sent, this time slower, simpler. A basic prime number sequence. The response returns almost instantly. Corrected. They are not only intelligent, they are faster. Around the world, ocean activity suddenly changes. The creatures stop attacking ships. Instead, they begin gathering near major underwater communication cables. Satellites show synchronized movement beneath 3 different oceans. Then something unexpected happens. The sonar network receives a new pattern. Not mathematical this time, but rhythmic. Scientists realize it could be a warning. Moments later, underwater volcano activity increases near the trench. Pressure shifts dangerously. The creatures are moving away from the unstable area. They sensed it before humans did. For the first time, humanity understands. The deep-sea intelligence may not be humanity's enemy. It may be something far more advanced and aware of Earth itself. After the volcanic eruption is avoided, scientists realize something extraordinary. The deep-sea intelligence didn't just warn humanity. It saved thousands of lives by predicting the disaster early. Global leaders are divided. Some still see the creatures as a threat. Others now believe they are guardians of the deep ocean. A new plan begins. Peaceful observation instead of military action. For weeks, there are no attacks. The synchronized shark movements continue, but only near unstable ocean zones, tectonic plates, thermal vents, deep trenches. It becomes clear, they are monitoring the planet. One night, the sonar system receives the most complex signal yet. It is not just mathematics or rhythm. It contains layered patterns. After decoding part of it, scientists make a shocking discovery. The signal maps Earth's ocean currents, decades into the future. Climate scientists compare the data. It matches predicted climate shifts, but more detailed than any human model. The deep-sea intelligence may understand Earth's systems better than humanity. The world watches in silence as deep-sea monitoring satellites track the creatures rising higher than ever before. Ships are ordered to keep distance. No weapons. No sudden movements. For the first time, one of the massive evolved sharks appears near the surface at dawn. It does not attack. It simply swims in a slow circle beneath a research vessel. Cameras capture clear images. Its movements are controlled, calm, observant. Then something unprecedented happens. The global sonar network receives a synchronized signal from multiple oceans at once. The pulses form a pattern that scientists translate into a visual model. It shows rising ocean temperatures, melting polar regions, changing currents. The creatures are not preparing for war. They are reacting to environmental collapse. A marine biologist speaks the words no one expected. They're adapting, because we are not. After the surface sighting, the world can no longer deny the truth. The deep-sea intelligence is real, and it is aware of humanity. Global leaders make a historic decision. No oceanic weapons, no aggressive action. Instead, an international ocean treaty is signed to reduce pollution, overfishing, and deep-sea mining. For weeks, the oceans remain calm. Then the sonar network receives the most powerful signal yet. It is not a warning. It is a countdown. Scientists panic, unsure what it means. Satellites scan the oceans. Seismic sensors activate. Deep beneath the largest trench, a massive underwater shift begins. Tectonic pressure builds to catastrophic levels, enough to cause a planet-wide tsunami. Before the rupture happens, the evolved sharks gather in massive numbers around the fault line. Their synchronized movement creates powerful countercurrents, redistributing pressure along the trench. It is not random. It is coordinated planetary engineering. The earthquake weakens. The tsunami never forms. On the surface, millions of lives are unknowingly saved. The final sonar message after the event is simple and slow. A repeated mathematical harmony. Not domination. Not war. Balance. Humanity finally understands. The deep blue sea is not a battlefield. It is a second intelligence, ancient, adaptive, and protecting the planet in ways humans never could. The world is no longer afraid of the deep. After the near disaster at the trench, humanity accepts a new truth. The evolved ocean intelligence is not an enemy. It is a guardian. A global ocean restoration program begins. Pollution levels drop. Deep-sea drilling is reduced. Marine protected zones expand across continents. For the first time in history, humans act not out of fear, but respect. Weeks later, the sonar network receives one final synchronized signal from every ocean basin. Scientists decode it carefully. It is not a warning. It is not data. It is a pattern that mirrors the first simple message humans ever sent, but now expanded, perfected, evolved. It is an answer. In the final scene, a research vessel floats peacefully at sunset. Beneath it, several massive shadows glide slowly through clear blue water. Not hiding, not attacking, just existing. One enormous shark rises close to the surface, its eye reflecting the sunlight. For a brief moment, human and ocean intelligence share the same space. Then it turns and disappears into the endless deep. The deep blue sea remains vast and mysterious. But now it is understood. The ocean is not silent. It has always been listening,